US has ruled that for these upcoming Tokyo Olympics that are taking place this summer, I think it's July 23rd they start, no participating athlete is allowed to wear any clothing that says BLM, Black Lives Matter, on it, and they're also not allowed to do any form of like protest, such as raising your fist or taking the knee.
Oh, embarrassing.
And if they do, they will be punished. I don't know if that means taking their medal back or like whatever, but
embarrassing.
And their reasoning for this is that it's in the Olympic rules. I think it's like Olympic Rule 50 or something like that. It's basically says that you're not allowed to like make an outwardly
political
which is
Can I say something? Can I say something? You see, before when I was talking about Palestine, and I spoke about how it's a lot of people shy away from making comment because they think it's polarizing and there's nuance and blah 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 blah. You see BLM, you see Black Lives Matter, same thing, bruv. It's black and white. It's not a debate. There's no nuance that needs to be had. It's not a political affiliation. It's existential. It's a moral position to take. It's to say that people deserve human rights. What's the comeback to that?
Yeah.
What's the comeback to that? How is that taking a political? How is that making a political affiliation? It's speaking a universal truth. That's what it is.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't agree that it's a political claim. Mm-hmm. It's existential.
I suppose, like, when a way just play devil's advocate, I don't agree with it at all. First of all, let me put that out there. But their stance on it is that to keep it free from politics, right? To not politicize the event and stuff like that. However, I just think, like, in the wake of the last year and a half's worth of events now, to make a stand like that, regardless of whether it's in your like fundamental rules or whatever, is so ignorant, and it's so like brazenly like you're just loud and wrong, you know. You're not just wrong, you're loud.
I just can't imagine saying to someone, you're not allowed to wear or say it. I think they are actually allowed to say it in interviews, but you're not allowed to wear anything that says your life matters.
Yeah, in the conference and stuff, they're allowed to speak about it, but that's it.
Yeah. But again, like, I feel like this has a lot to do with the way that we frame the issue of BLM. Like, we see it as so political, and it obviously is a political thing because it's politics that will have to change, and it's politics that have created the conditions for BLM. But it is fundamentally, like I keep saying, it's an existential thing. Like, if we stop thinking of it as a contentious political debate, as something, as I keep saying, something that needs to be debated, something that requires nuance, then we'll see it for what it is, which is a claim for universal human rights, which there is no debate to be had about that. You know, if that's how you see it, if you see it for what it is, then it doesn't fall into the fray of Olympic rules. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, it is just, I think what will have happened is whoever's at the top, and it's the same with when we were talking about Boris Johnson, where we were like, I don't think he's like deliberately evil, like in terms of that. I think it's the same sort of thing in terms of, I don't think they will have been like, oh, I hate black people, so we're not going to do this. I think it will have been, they will have looked at that and think, we're going to get a load of backlash if people do this. So it's a lot easier to just pull the plug and then, rather than deal with the backlash and say, we stand with...
Like, why is it controversial? That's like, what it is. Yeah, they're trying to save themselves from controversy. And this, again, I'm going to say this for the third time, why is it controversial? Why is it controversial to say Black Lives Matter? It's not. It should be a universal truth, you know? But...
I think as well, like the idea, even if you were to, like, again, like play devil's advocate and say like, oh, like, yeah, fine, whatever, you can't wear, you have to stick to your uniform, or like whatever it is. To say that you're not allowed to simply raise your hand or take the knee, like, why? Like, I don't understand. Like, surely that breaks some kind of human rights, because surely is the right to freedom of protest not like a human right thing? I don't know. So like, what? So why is that rule even in the Olympics then? Like,
and it also goes to show like how out of touch people are with the black experience. You know, to make it out as though it's a political thing that they can opt in and out of. You know, like I
was thinking this because, like, if the Olympics had happened last year,
it would have been during the summer of BLM.
yeah, and I don't think they would have said this then.
Yeah,
I think they would have been like, people are
That's
too
what I'm saying.
round up.
It's just so contentious and so on topic still. I know that was last year, but it's still so hot right now that I just think that it's in such poor taste.
No, I think it's like last year. I don't think they would have done it because it would have been too hot, and it was all in the wake of George Floyd's death, and all the protests that happened after it. I think they would have recognised.
Then it would have been too obvious that they're the villain.
Yeah.
Right now, they can get away
So
with it.
they know better, though. That's what you're saying. That they know better. Then, just because it's been a year on, it's kind of, I guess, in a sense, cooled down slightly.
Yeah, they can get
Therefore,
away with
they
it now.
feel
That's what
they
it
have
is.
gravity to say it, but they don't.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
just embarrassing, isn't it? Like,
it's embarrassing.
It's embarrassing. But again, like, you know how we're saying, we're talking about, we compared it to Boris Johnson and the fact that, it's not that they're deliberately evil and it's just that they just don't want the backlash. I agree, they don't want the backlash, but again, we can't separate it from a concerted, like, globally pervasive system of anti-blackness. Like, it is also that.
Yeah.
It is also that they do not value black lives.
Yeah.
You know, that they are actively anti-black, you know. So,
but where does that put the athletes that are competing, given that, they know that's the Olympic Committee's attitude towards them and how they would like to protest against their own, persecution? That's their attitude towards it, the committee which they're competing within. That puts them in such poor stead for going into these competitions, knowing they're not valued, their experience is not valued, their voices are not being recognised.
As well, is that I bet these athletes, like, don't even have really a say in it. Like, after this proclamation has been made, obviously they're representing their country. I think if they were there and they were like, well, no, F this, I'm gonna wear what I want, I think their country would turn around and be like, like, you're representing us, like, you need to do this. So, like, the only way in which this is actually gonna be, like, successfully protested against is if everyone just did it, you know what I mean? Like, just didn't, but like, I
they
doubt,
can't ban us all.
yeah, exactly, but it's like, I doubt that's gonna happen because, like, ultimately it's not
just everyone is anti-black, man. It's just too formidable.
And it's also like the individual athletes, what ultimately they're not competing for themselves, they're competing for their country, and their country
is anti-black.
Yeah, and they're not going to be like, oh, we're gonna risk losing our medal over this. Like,
exactly.
It's just sad. It's just like, we always come back. We always comes back how it's always just so, like, fickle. This idea of like, this whole what's it called? Social.
So selective.
Solidarity.
Yeah, post on my Instagram, like, black square.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
There you go.
It's convenient and it's digestible when people want it to be. But when it comes to making a change, genuinely caring, finding out the facts and forming your own opinion, that's when people just push it to the wind and they go on to the next thing that they can just whack a little Instagram story up about.
Yeah.
I think we need to make no qualms about the fact that it's objectively wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think, say with certainty, we think it's wrong.
Yeah.
And if you don't think it's wrong, we'd be very interested to see your opinion on that. So please,
but you're wrong.
get in touch with us at Bango Masala Radio on Instagram. I'd be very interested to hear.
Yeah, I'll let you deal with that because you see me, you'll be getting death threats. Joking.
You know what? I was literally editing footage from last week, and you said that last week as well. Like, she is joking. Like, please, like, don't.
I'm joking. Wink, wink. No, guys, I'm joking. I'm not getting Carlos in trouble. I'm joking.
Carlos is gonna get cancelled.
I'm joking. It's me. If you guys want to come for anyone, come for me. Leave Carlos alone. It's me.
Tell them where they can link you.
At Halima Nashir. Seriously, if you guys are bad, you can at me.